Hey Hebro fans, this is Todd. So I got my clamp champ. See if this shines back too much. Nope, cool. And thanks to Kel Naress for providing them for me. Thank you, man. I put a thank you in the description too. I appreciate you forking up the cash for it. That was really cool of you. Let me go get my iPad up and running so I can watch people's things. Hey Ryan, hey Masterfar, hey Delaxorian. Thanks for joining me. Hey Andrew. What's up is we are going to look at this figure and see if we can make a Hebro out of him. And in case you don't know who Hebro is, he's a character that I designed right here. Boop. Kind of an interesting story how I designed him. A long time ago, I actually found a brown He-Man figure in a giant auction I bought with a bunch of different figures. And I didn't know who he was because I stopped collecting before Clamp Champ came out. And so I was messing with them, and pretty soon I ended up putting He-Man's armor on him, just the gray armor. That looks really cool. Well, I got to work, and my friend Jeff and I were talking and stuff, and my friend Jeff was making up names, and I was making up names, and we decided to name this guy Hebro. And then when I got back home, I saw that He-Man.org replied back to me and said, oh, that's Clamp Champ. But I already named him Hebro. He already had He-Man's armor on, so I didn't have a clamp. I didn't have Clamp Champ's armor. It was just a figure with no armor. So that is how I made my Hebro. Later on, somebody ended up making me a cool custom Hebro, and they're the ones that added the color yellow and green on the Hebro figure they made me originally. And that was pretty cool. So I just decided to adopt that and keep going with that green and yellow look. I don't think the armbands are green, just the belt was green back then. So as you can see, I've made a lot of Hebros since then. This is the original one. Actually, not the very original one that my friend made me. Actually, Master English has that one, and his arm got broken, unfortunately, during mailing. But this is one that I remade since then. And then I have my Origins one. Origins! And now it's time. And I actually had no plans on making the Masterverse one. But when Kel's like, you know what? I will do it for you, man. Hey, Charles, thanks for joining us. And so he actually sent it. Look at that. Charles, thank you so much for always donating, man. That is so nice of you. I sure do appreciate that. So let's go ahead and open up Clamp Champ. Now, Clamp Champ originally had Fisto's armor. And so basically had the same armor as Fisto, but he had a cool clamp that was kind of spring-loaded. And so let's look at the back of the box. It says, Evil Warriors, better get a grip, or Clamp Champ will give them one. Armed with his Techno Clamp, the heroic master of capture puts his enemies in a pinch on the battlefield. As one of Eternia's greatest heroes, he protects the royal palace from the evil forces of Skeletor. All right, there we go. And Clamp Champ is a pretty cool figure. Don't get me wrong, I like Clamp Champ, but like I said, when I made my Hebro, I didn't know who Clamp Champ was, and he was already made, so there you go. Now, my character Hebro is not the same character as Clamp Champ, so it's not that he went from Clamp Champ to Hebro. He's supposed to be a totally unique new character. So let's go ahead and check out his clamp first and see if they've given us any of the same features the original clamp had. And we'll get him out of here. If I ever get out of here. Okay, let's get... there we go. Okay. Oh! Now I broke his clamp apart. Hopefully it's made to come apart. That's gotta be able to come apart. It's got designs on top of here. I'm sure it's made to come apart, otherwise it wouldn't come apart quite that easy. Yeah. I'm sure it's some kind of play feature. Oh, it probably goes on his hand. You probably pull it open, his hand grips way down here, and then goes on there. Okay, interesting. I thought I broke it. It's like I only had it for 5 seconds and I'm already breaking it. Get out of there, man. Okay, here he is. Let's go ahead and break down his articulation. So, first of all, we have boot articulation, or foot articulation, boot cut, double jointed knees. Come on, bend. Now, I was tempted to make a clamp champ out of King Grayskull, but I didn't. Not clamp champ. I was trying to make a Hebro out of... He doesn't have that up and down joint like some of those females have now. He has a upper thigh cut, hip joint, waist cut, shoulder, bicep, double jointed elbow. And then his wrist bends. His wrist bends back and forth, not up and down. All right, and then of course his head moves as well. So there we go. There is the clamp champ body. Let's go ahead and check out his clamp champ weapon here. So I guess you pull this off. You stick his hand inside there, which makes kind of sense because it gives him a little bit more grip power hanging onto it. It's going around his arm, but it kind of stinks too because now it's a little bit harder to get rid of when you're done. You know what? I don't think I like that. I liked it better when the handle was in the bottom. Oh well. And these just spring back closed. Wish there was a way to keep it latched so when it's ready to go, it's ready to go, but oh well, that's okay. Still cool. Now, one thing I do like about this clamp champ figure, let's go ahead and talk about this, is first of all, he has 2 silver wrist cuffs. Dun, dun, dun. You're probably like, what? 2 silver wrist cuffs? Hebro, why does that matter at all? Let me explain why. Let me do some explaining. So let me go and zoom up on this while I go get my other part of why this is so important. When I made my custom King Grayskull, I did not have the luxury of having Clamp Champ and his 2 silver bracelets or 2 silver gauntlets. So I had to actually buy 2 fistos. 2 fisticuffs. Dude, your hair just needs... I need to re-glue that sometime. Hold on a second. Let me grab a fisto out of here. I don't actually have a fisto that's open. I just have this one still in the box. And you can see Fisto, he's sporting only 1 cuff because on the other side is his fist. So in order to get 2 silver cuffs in the past, you had to buy 2 Fistos. And it's like, you know, if I would have thought about that, I could have just got myself a Clamp Champ and been done with it. Now, you're probably asking also, what's with this? You know, what's kind of cool too is the colors are not the same. This one's kind of a little more softer silver. This one's kind of a sharper silver. I actually like the softer silver better. It matches his belt. So this one doesn't match his belt quite as well, or his shield especially. You can see that it's almost the exact same as his shield. So anyway, let me grab another He-Man figure. He-Man. So here we have my custom He-Man figure that I made. And in order to make this, I had to get 2 He-Man figures so I could use the cuffs. But notice this only has 4 dots going all the way around. If I hold it right there, you can see you got 1, 2 halves, and then 1 over here. So it only has 4 dots going around. It's like 4 dots. You got to have more than 4. More than 4. So if you take a look at like this He-Man here, we have 1, 2, 3 on this side. And I said 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yep, 6. So this He-Man has 6 dots going all the way around, which makes a whole lot more sense than just 4. And even the original toys way back in the 80s, believe it or not, his arm is the same as He-Man's arm was. And he has 1, 2, 3. He has 6 as well. So I don't get why they went with the 4 dots on He-Man's armor originally for his wrist cuffs. Anyway. Alright, now it's time to transform him. Transformers! So first of all, let's go ahead and pull off his hands. Ugh. Come on off there. You're probably going, why are you pulling his hands off? Wait a second. Are those glued on or are they... No, I can't get his silver cuffs off. Well, that is a bummer. Yeah, those are stuck on there good. I was going to steal them, and I pulled out a bunch of other cuffs to use, because I think basically you paint them green. I thought, you know, black ones might look kind of cool. These were Hordax, I believe. I thought that might look kind of cool, the black ones. And then I have a bunch of yellow ones here. These ones actually match. These ones, one's shiny, one's dull, so they don't match. But these aren't coming off. They are, you can take a look right here. They got glue all the way around that thing. They have glued that thing on super good. Either that or it's molded on. No, it's glued. I don't know why they decided to just coat this thing with so much glue. No. So if I did get it off, it might actually damage one or the other. Okay, we'll leave him on for now. Let's go ahead and pull off his armor. Or is that glued on too? So it doesn't look like it's the exact same armor as Fisto's this time. Which with Classics, they changed it up too. It wasn't the same armor with Classics either. Take off your armor! Alright. A Hebro from the Ventasa. Well, it's funny is, what was it people were calling her? Somebody did make one of those, and it was really cool looking. But I forgot what they called her. No, I can't remember. Anyway, I don't have a link to it now because my links weren't working, but I'll add a link later on where to buy the armor. I did find it a few minutes ago. And so I have 2 different kinds of armor. I have this armor here, which is basically Classics armor. And the Classics armor is really cool, but it always breaks. You can see right here, this one's getting ready to break right here. One time I sold some guy just the armor because he wanted to make his own Hebro figure. And I really didn't want to sell it to him because I bought the armor to make Hebro figures. I have a whole bunch of clamp champs. And when he got it, he put it on without heating it up, and it snapped right there, of course. And I even put reinforcements on the inside before he got it just to make sure. And then the other armor you can get is actually like the old 1980s armor, which I like this better because it's actually a whole lot stronger. But look at the color difference. It's kind of weird because of the material is slightly different between these two armors. This is an older one he made. This is a newer one. I like the coloring of this better, but I just know that the odds of this breaking are so high. But you know what? I'm going to go with the Classics anyway. So I'm going to heat this up first. I just happen to have some hot water over here amongst my mess of stuff. And we'll see if we can just heat this up just enough to soften it up, and hopefully it won't break on me. Hopefully it won't shrink on me either. One time I heated up some armor and it shrank, and it was like, ah! Alright, so now I'll put his arms forward. Now if I have to stretch this at all, it will just snap, so we have to make sure it's not going to stretch at all. And we'll just pop this in. Now if you're going to buy your own, I would suggest getting this style, less chance of breaking. But the Classics does look pretty cool on them though. Alright, there we go. And now for his sword. he sells these swords here, which are okay, but I actually prefer these other swords, and these are the ones that he made, I believe. These are the ones that I got off eBay from somebody else one time. I like the clearer one better, so it's not like it's the Sword of the Spirit. But I guess I got to put his hands back on so he can hold them. Normally I'd take and put a clear green glaze over the top of this silver for his wristbands and his belt. But I'm not going to do that right now because it's just so messy. But you guys have seen me paint before. And we'll stick that in his hand. There we go. Da-da-da-da-da-da. You can just see it's just so ready to snap at any time. Especially this one here, it's already starting to separate a little bit. It's just so frustrating. And now he needs a Bible, and I'll put a link to these on there as well. And this is a little timeless miniature Bible. So in case you guys don't know the story of Hebro, he was an Eternian, and he found a Gideon Bible in Marlena's ship, because those Gideons get those Bibles everywhere. And he read through the Bible, and in the front of it has the plan of salvation, and he read it and became the first Christian on Eternia. So that's why he gets a Bible. Ugh. And then his Bible turns into the Sword of the Spirit, which is the clear yellow sword there that just fell off his back. So technically he wouldn't have his sword and his Bible at the same time. It's either one or the other. But when I pose him, I always put the sword on his back. There you go. Or, for a second option, you can use a book from Orko. And I actually one time made a little decal that went on here that said Holy Bible and had the words split up right where the ribbon was. Bookmark. So there you go. Oop. A really easy custom. Basically just an armor swap. I believe he sells these armor packs for, I think it was $45 a piece. So the armor packs are kind of spendy. But again, I'll put the link to the auction in my description once my links are working again. That just does not want to stay. I guess it's going in like this. I should just use the other armor. It's not going to stay on. No. All right. No sword in the back. We'll just stick in his other hand. He's a left-handed swordsman. There we go. So, Kel, are you on here? You are. Nice. Thanks for joining me. And thanks for the figure, man. So cool. Now I have a Masterverse Hebro, which I had no plans of getting, so thanks to Cal, I now have them. All right. So I will put the links in the description for you guys so you can come back and check it out. King James Version. Yes, it's the King James Version. That's what the Gideons usually use. It's funny, his face looks kind of like my Uncle Chuck a little bit. It's weird. I think it's the lips. It's funny too, because did I fix the grays? I remember the Clamp Champ used to have a little bit of gray in his hair right here. And maybe I might have fixed it on this figure and painted it black. That's funny. All right. There we go. One more Hebro to the collection. He just needs to be painted green. He'll be set. He sus. I need Hebro, the first Christian on Eternia. Actually, you guys would not believe the storyline as my kids and I used to do. It was hilarious. In our storylines, Hebro, first Christian on the planet, you know, back in the 80s, all the different churches were totally against He-Man because of the occultic stuff. So in our storyline, the second Christian on Eternia was Merman, Fred Eckler, and he became a good guy. And then later on, Skeletor became a believer, and they were all against He-Man because he used occultic power. And it was totally different storyline that He-Man was the bad guy, and he was like, the cool kid in school who, and then Skeletor's crew were all the misfits, all the nerdy kids, the ones that didn't fit in with everybody else. And so it's kind of a funny storyline that my kids and I would play, that actually He-Man was the bad guy and Skeletor and his crew were the good guys. So I know it's a little messed up. Excuse me. It's kind of funny, but yeah, Skeletor just wants a little bit of the power too. Come on, He-Man, can't you share? Skeletor is a Democrat. He's a pagan. Oh, that's funny. Hey, people just think he's bad because he has a skull for his face. He can't help it. But yeah, it was kind of funny. So it was that they were trying to stop the occultic power on Eternia. It was kind of crazy, kind of the stories the kids and I would play. And Skeletor and his crew were the good guys. But we played all kinds of different ways. Sometimes Skeletor would be the bad guy too, and He-Man would be the good guy. So we changed the storyline. Whatever figures that they were playing with that day were usually the good guys. Yeah, and tragic for He-Man. Nice. Nice, Gnomsky. Yep. And for those that are believers, the sword of the Spirit. So that's why I had, if you look at my website, you'll see it transforms from the Bible that I made a long time ago. So there you go. That's how I put in my belief into my toys, and it makes it kind of fun. But now, of course, I usually have He-Man be the good guy, even though Skeletor is still one of my favorites. Yes, I did see the company making biblical figures. They look kind of cool. I know this sounds really weird. I have a hard time buying angels and stuff that are supposed to be real, like Gabriel or other angels. It's just kind of, it feels weird to me. I don't mind buying like David and Goliath. Those are fun. Or other figures like that you can play and relive the stories. But buying like real angels or real devil figures or something else, I just can't do it. Sorry, it just to me feels like it's wrong. So, but even though I make figures that look like angels all the time, but they're not really, historical characters in scripture. Battle Arrow He-Man. No, M&S. Thanks, man. Anyway, so there you go. Now you guys know my whole story. Gotta love that fan favorite bias with making canon villains into good guys and playing. See, this is funny. When my kids were little, I used to make video games, and I wasn't going to do the Hebro storyline. I was just going to make a storyline where you're Skeletor, and I was going to have all the characters be normal without Hebro or anything else. And you know how Skeletor has like regular Skeletor, battle armor Skeletor. Then in 2000X we had the fire Skeletor, and we had the ice Skeletor, I think, and then we had battle sound Skeletor, and we got dragon blast Skeletor. And I was going to make it that you start out as Skeletor and you get your rear kicked by He-Man again and again and again. Every end level, you're just kicking butt as Skeletor and your minions, and then He-Man comes out and just, takes you out, hands you your butt on a platter. And I thought it'd be cool as you go up the levels, you get different Skeletor armors. So the first one, you get battle armor Skeletor. And now you have a little bit of an edge on He-Man, but not enough. And then later on you get, the ice armor one or the fire one, or then you get the dragon blast, or then you get the big old blades on his hands. I forget what they're called now, but the terror claws. And I thought that'd be so cool to make a game. And He-Man never changes. He doesn't get all the cool armors as you get the armors. He just comes out as a regular He-Man. But as you're fighting your way through trying to defeat He-Man and just, reclaim what you think you deserve, some of the power, and just going up through the levels with all the different armors and stuff. I thought that'd be a really cool game to make. I want Mattel a He-Man in full knight armor. That'd be cool. The Book of Hebro, Chapter 1, Eternia. Nice. Unicron, I cannot wait to get the Eternia. I gotta hurry and finish the stop motion with this set right here. It's just a small scene that happens here, and then I can do the rest of it elsewhere later. So I have the table clear to set up my Eternia. What if He-Man gave his enemy wedgies? Oh, yeah, that would be bad. Yep. And he would do that because his good friend works in the underwear department at Sears, and he wants to sell more underpants. So he gives all the bad guys wedgies. That way, then they have to go buy new underwear. All right. Anyway, listen. Thanks for listening to me indulge on my craziness when it comes to some of the storylines that I used to do with the kids when they were little. Like I told you before, is when they were little, I didn't give them any of the figures' names at all. They named them all themselves. And I can't remember his name now. The guy with the chopping hand. Oh, Jitsu. Jitsu, my son called $1 Million Hand because he had a golden hand. And it was funny. They all had different names for them. And they would be good guys, bad guys, and different. Whatever they were that day, they'd always be changing. So we never had a consistent storyline. It was really cool. But usually Fred Eckler, which was Merman, was usually the main guy. All right. I'm sure you guys had enough. Hey, thanks, Charles. I appreciate it. Fruit of the Goon. Nice. The bad guys buy Fruit of the Goon underwear. The most powerful wedgies in the universe. Oh, that would be bad. All right. Anyway, Kel, thanks again for my new Hebro figure. I had the armor just waiting to someday use on some figure. So that worked out really cool. So, and again, I'll come back and put the link in this video. Yeah, he would just be tearing the underwear off. See, that's the trick. You got to give the wedgie and then tear the back so they're unusable again. That way, then they're dirty, filthy, stuck. Now that they've turned into a thong instead of just underwear. Yes. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Hey, Sparkle Wolf. Gotta love the fan. Oh, yeah. Nice. Need a battle armor set in yellow. Grayskull is the Catholic Church. Skeletor's a Democrat. That is hilarious. I think the Masterverse one looks better. No! It does look cool, though. I like the way his chest is built around the armor. I think it does look kind of cool. I also like his coloring, too. I think he's got really good coloring for the brown that he has. All right. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Like they say in the 1987 movie, good journey, you guys. And remember, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you guys next video. Let's see. I think the original Claptrap is still the best. Yeah, he was a cool one. Like I said, though, I never had the Claptrap armor when I first found him. Eventually, I made a Claptrap from the 80s figures, but I don't have him anymore. He's long gone. Good journey, you guys. Hey, thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Yep. Got the throne room all set up. Look at that. The pillars, the floor. My wife just picked these up for me the other day at the hardware store. And, oh, check this out. Check it out. The doors aren't in right now, but here is the doorway into the throne room. Ooh, oh, so cool. And here's the doors that go on there, but they have to be pressurized in when I put them in, so they just go right in that spot. Thanks, man. All right, you guys. Good journey. Bye now.